is a scrolling shooter video game developed by Konami of Japan for the Super Nintendo. It was released in September 11, 1992 in Japan, later in that month in North America, and the following year for the rest of Europe. Later on, the game was re-released on the Nintendo Wii's Virtual Console in Australia and North America in 2007, and then later in Japan in 2008. Axelay, in the same vein as other Konami titles such as Life Force and Gradius, the game uses a very clever system which gives it an almost like 3D feel to it, using both horizontal and vertical scrolling levels, and allows the player also to choose 3 different kinds of weapon types which can be attached to the ship, which increases in number as he or she progresses through the game, very similar to other titles like R-Type. Axelay was programmed by Hideo Ueda. Kazuhiko Ishida was credited with the support program on Axelay, and Taro Kudo primarily composed the whole soundtrack for this game, which, by the way, is quite an awesome soundtrack, and I will be putting it up in my soundtracks playlist. Right then, let's have a look at the story then. Axelay takes place in a fictional solar system known as AUS. Once a very peaceful system, it was invaded by an alien empire known as the Armada of Annihilation. You can't argue with that title. Taking over the planets of the AUS system one by one, including the Earth-like planet Corliss, known also in the Japanese version as Mother. As a last resort against the alien forces, the only remaining battleship, D-117B Axelay fighter, is sent out to recover its lost weaponry and put a stop to the evil invasion. Axelay's gameplay varies quite a bit from the traditional 2D scrolling shooters, but they've also made they've given it this 3D feel to it, so it's quite cool. And instead of the players collecting weapon power-ups from defeated enemies in order to acquire more advanced weapons, the player also earns weapons as you advance in the game. So you'll have one particular weapon, pass the level, and then you'll have more offerings, and then you can just select them. You can select them in which ones you want, like shown in this picture. There are 3 weapon types which the fighter is outfitted, and in the start of the level: a standard weapon, or a special weapon, or you can have a bomb or a missile. The player may freely switch between each of these weapons types during the level. At the end of each level, you will get a new choice of one of these types of weapons, and it's added to into the armory. So later on you can even switch back to one if you preferred an older one than the newer one. And you also have the ability to modify your fighter, so you can make it suit your needs for the next level. Similar to Konami's Life Force, level transitions between vertical and horizontal scrolling layouts, forcing the player to select weapons that will be most effective for each level. So depending on what level it is, you can modify your ship. Another great thing about Axelay is it doesn't follow the standard one-hit kill like in most shooter games. In this one, instead, it simply disables you and downgrades you. So if you get hit by anyone, if your ship was modded up and you had some extra weapons, it'll start downgrading you. So if they hit you, you will lose that weapon, and then you just revert back to a weakness state. So eventually you will downgrade yourself into a stage where you just get blown up. So you got a bit more of a chance to survive, even though with less weapons and less armor. So just quickly talking about the graphics, which Axelay users, which is known as the Super NES Mode 7 and parallax scrolling effects. So it was a quite interesting concept because he gave what a simple 2D space shooter would have looked like, just made it a bit more interesting. So we saw at the beginning, he gave it that 3D look, like this things were coming at you. So it was quite a clever system, and it's also very clever how it switches. 1 minute you can be using this parallax scrolling effect, and then it goes and it reverts back to a normal 2D state, like you can see now. So yeah, it was very clever. So that's what made it special. Also, the sound system was used to make the music very clear, very clear sound, very good soundtracks, and that's what made Axelay quite unique and very popular for the Super Nintendo. was my review of Axelay. Overall, I think the game is great. It looked stupendous on the Super Nintendo, especially the way they did the 3D looks and all that stuff like that. But there was at times when, even though it looked good, I found the game quite awkward. You didn't seem to be able to maneuver around like the floating rocks and stuff like that, and you just kept hitting things, couldn't see things very well. Things just kept coming at you all of a sudden. Another thing as well is I thought the bosses are very, very hard, so I don't think you're going to get an easy ride on this game. They are almighty hard. The first few bosses are not that bad, but I think from the lava onwards the bosses are almighty difficult, especially the last one where you have many stages. But then again, R-Type is pretty much the same. R-Type is a very, very hard game. It's got some very hard bosses. But yeah, but apart from that, I think Axelay is brilliant. It's an excellent game. It's well worth getting for your collection if you're collecting old school stuff. Another great thing as well about the game is also a CD set was released for it. So there's an amazing soundtrack to be collected. As you can see on the picture here, that's what it looks like. But I'm not sure if you can buy it in the US or in Europe. All I know is that it's available in Japan, and it's got 22 tracks and a few remixes as well. So if you know where to get this CD or something, it's a must buy for a collector's item. I know I would love to have it. But I've got some soundtracks, all the soundtracks for Axelay, so I'll be featuring that in my soundtracks playlist, including the remixes. Well, for that's my review of Axelay. Hope you enjoyed it. Please rate and comment, and thank you very much for watching. Until the next time, Penny Game Boy out.